So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to create these kind of ridges and supports, these stalagmites and stalactites where elements get screwed into each other, slotted into each other. I'm going to show you how we can build these into your hollowed out shapes using Fusion. In one of my previous videos I showed you how to basically get a shape, solid shape like this, and hollow it out. So if I was to just hide these two parts of the body, you can see how it's kind of hollow on the inside. We call it shelling. If we look at that one, and then if I bring the other one back, hide that one, you can see it's the same on there. Okay. If you haven't seen that video, I'd recommend you check that one out first before you do this one. It's essential, so try and find that video on how to shell out and hollow out your product before you move on to this. So if you have watched that, you'll be aware that what you had to do to get to that point was to create one of these new offset planes where you split the body in half. Okay, so if I go to my plane 10, that orange plane, this is exactly where I split it, and I'm going to use this plane again to help me with putting in some supports, because it's by doing that it's going to allow me to draw a sketch that's going to match up in one half and in the other half. So I'm just going to hide body 10 for now. I'm going to work on body 9 just to start off with, and then I'll go back into body 10 afterwards once I've done all the hard work here. So I'm going to click on here on the offset plane, and I'm going to draw on it. So all my sketch is going to be level with that offset plane, exactly where it got split. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build in some just a couple of circles, 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, which I'm going to use for having these kind of stalagmite, stalactite kind of idea, these features that are joined to the wall as well to give it support. I'll then show you how you can make them in, so you can put screws through them, as well as being able to just slot them together and build in these ridges and ribs on the inside to add support to your design. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm probably going to do it here. It's a good natural place to do it, exactly where this point is here. I'm going to go to my circle tool, and I'm going to draw a circle. I'll just put this one at 5mm, like that. And on the inside of that, I'm going to draw another one. This time I'm going to do this one at 2. Okay, so I've got this 2 circles, these kind of donut effect, exactly there. Now if I want to, I can move that. What I'll do is go to my select tool, hold shift as I select each one of those, and right click, I can move copy. You can see I can move those up and down, but what I actually want to do is create a copy of that, because once I've created a copy I don't have to draw it again. I can just move this down to here, so I've got 1, I've got 2 there. Okay, like that. I'm going to do the same again. So I've got those 4 all set up, ready to go. There's a little bit more I want to do to these. I'll show you that in a second, but the idea is once I've stopped the sketch, I can grab that sketch here, and say for example on this particular side, I'm just going to hold shift, so I've got both of those circles selected. I'm going to go to create to make an extrusion. Now it's asking me for distance, so I could start dragging it down. However, because I'm going into this curve, the problem with that is if I want it to join, what you sometimes get, and it's not really done it on this one, you sometimes get the bottom of that curve sticking out the side. There, if I take that too far down, like that, you see how it's sticking out the side there? So the most effective way to do this, rather than doing it on distance, is to click on that and go to object. So if I click into object, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click on that face there and that face there, because it's going into both. So you can see that it's pushed itself down, it's now joining both that, and it's also matching the curvature of that. Now if I just look at the side here, you can see it's not sticking out. It's on join. I'm going to press OK, and now I've got one of these features. Now, as it always does whenever you do an extrusion, a sketch hides. So I just need to bring that back, like that. And if I can go onto here, I can click on that, and I'm going to push this one up, like that. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring body 10 back in and hide body 9. Looking at it from underneath. Now those sketches I did before are already here, so I don't have to draw it all out, and I know for a fact that that sketch is going to match exactly up with the one I've just shown you, because it's the same sketch that I've used. So if I just click on this, just the ring this time, and again go to extrude, click on distance to object, and I want to go into the curve and to that flat surface. I want it to join. You can see that it is joining up with that, it's not sticking out. I've got that there. So I've got this part sticking down, I've got that bit that sticks into it. Now with the 3D printer, it will add just a fraction of a millimetre or so just onto it, so it doesn't quite go in on first try. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the hole of this just a fraction bigger. Oh, you can hide that sketch, so I can click on this surface. I'm going to modify it, and I'm just going to push it out to expand the hole. You can see the difference between 0 and 1 millimetre there, it's massive. So it needs to be just a fraction. So it looks like it might need to be minus 0.2. So I've just opened the hole up a little bit. Now there's a slight issue with leaving it as like this. Now that's quite big, but sometimes these can be quite long, and you'll find that they break off quite easily. So what I need to do is I need to attach it to the wall by having a support there. Now because it's on this curve, it causes a bit of a headache, that, because it doesn't always, I won't be able to just draw a support in there and pull it down. I've got to do it slightly differently. So this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it on one of these other supports that I've got around here. Now I'm going to find that sketch that I did. So this is the sketch there, sketch 30. You can see it's highlighted those in blue. I'm going to right click and go edit sketch. So I'm back into the original sketch mode there. When I've got the two circles, what I'm also going to create with the rectangle tool is I'm just going to add a little bit to it like that. So I'd recommend you do this when you first start drawing them up. I need to go to trim. Just going to get rid of that little bit, that bit there. So you can see I've got this, it's not quite, it's got the circle there, the circle, but it's got this extra little bit sticking out with a flat surface, and that's the key. I've got this flat surface there. I'm going to stop the sketch. So you can see the difference between that one I've just drawn and then these ones where it's just the circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around to this one, and I'm going to do like I showed you on the previous step. I'm going to click on there, I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to create my extrusion. It says distance, I'm going to go to object, but the key thing is I've still got this flat surface over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that flat surface, just that flat surface, I'm going to go to create again and extrude. And for this I just need to pan my camera around so I can see There we go. So it's going to extrude, and again I'm going to, rather than placing distance, I'm going to go to object, click on there, click on there. Now for this one I might need to click on that chain faces option there, perfect, and you can see what it's done is it's pushed that into the side. It's on join, press OK. So if we look at the difference between those two I've just done, on this one I've just got the cylinder kind of growing out of the bottom of the design, just the cylinder, and what might happen is eventually that might snap off, this whole bit, especially if it's much longer than I've done it here, depending on your design. So like on the image I was showing you at the start, what you'll find is most of the time they've got some kind of way of attaching it to the side wall, and that's how you do it. You create your circles, but you add this extra little bit on, and then you push it to the side. Okay, so I'm going to do it to these two over here as well. Right, so you can see I've done it on that side. If I go to unhide body 9, get body 10 back up, I'm going to have to do it to the side as well. But this time, I'm just going to grab the outer shape and not the holes. Now what you may want to do is to put some further supports into here, ridges and ribs, just to give it a bit more strength. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my construction plane, I'm going to click on there and I'm going to sketch onto it, like that. And for this I'm going to just draw a thin rectangle about there. I'm not going to the ends, okay? I'm going to make sure it joins up to those in a similar fashion to how you've seen. So I'm just drawing a thin rectangle there, press stop sketch, like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down to the floor. And now I'm going to have it attached to the sides. Now there's quite a lot of material being created there, and I don't necessarily need that rib to be all the way up there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this face, like that, and I'm going to sketch onto that face. Okay, now let's pan the camera around. I can't see my face anymore, but if I just tilt the camera, holding shift on my keyboard and the middle mouse scroller, I can just tilt it down. Now from that I can maybe make an offset on the inside, like that. So you can see the area that I've got removed is that whole bit there, and I'm going to modify it. I'm going to push it through and cut that section out. It's on cut, okay. So it's left me with just that rib going around the inside of the shape there. Now it's a bit unsightly at the top here, so what I can do is I can click on there, and some of you might have already guessed already, I'm going to put a chamfer on it. So now I've got this rib that's going to add support to my design to stop it from flexing, like that, and I'd build those in just where needed, as many as you think are required. So when I bring in my other body back, from the outside it looks exactly the same as it did before I'd started doing all this work, but when I look at it from the inside now, I'm just going to move this up. It's a whole... Let's just move that out of the way. You can see, it looks quite impressive and very commercial. This is how it would be done if done in industry. If you're putting screws in, rather than having this rod that's going to stick into there, what I would do instead is I would push that through as a hole. So I'm just going to modify that. I'm going to create my extrusion and push it back in. So it's going to be a hole. I'm going to go all the way through. Like that. So now you can see I've got a hole into this part, but this is where the screw would go in. Through there. And into there. Now, what also I need to just make sure I've done is on the top, let's put a countersink on this. So if I go to modify, chamfer it. Finally, I click on there and I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to put a thread in. So a thread is what you can screw into, and I'll go into this in a bit more detail in another video, but